In 2007, Narendra Modi, in an interview with journalist Karan Thapar on CNN, walked out when asked if he regrets the mass killing and murder of innocent children and women in 2002 Gujarat. 23 years after this sweat and fumble, in a recent interview with Lex Fridman on NDTV, the Prime Minister was asked what he learned from Gujarat riot, perhaps a different line of questioning. This time his answer was far more choreographed. Dismissing the magnitude of 2002 violence, he invoked the clean chit by Supreme Court and painted a Byzantine picture of his debut as politician. It seems for a moment as though the Prime Minister had laid the ghost of Godhra back to the grave. But a cloud of complicity still hovers over Narendra Modi. In 2023, when BBC released a two-part documentary, The Modi Question, the Indian government was quick to put a ban on the docu-series. The documentary brought to light the aftermath of the violence in 2002 Gujarat. On the banks of the Sabarmati River, one of the most violent incidents of the last 2 decades unfolded. It all began on February 27, 2002, when a compartment of a train returning from Ayodhya caught fire in Godhra. The incident resulted in the death of 58 car sevaks and was cited as the immediate trigger for the following violence. Much has been said about the cause of this fire. Was this a conspiracy, an accident? One is left to speculate. Local newspapers fed the prevalent anti-Muslim prejudice of its Hindu readership and provoked them by sensationalizing and distorting the news. A shrewd conjecture was manufactured that Muslims were responsible for Godhra and needed to be punished. On 28th February, front page report on a Gujarati newspaper Sandesh read, "Avenge blood with blood." It was a time when Gujarati Muslims were returning from Hajj. Headlines like "Hindus, be aware, Hajj pilgrims return with a deadly conspiracy" were published the following week. After the Godhra train incident, a meeting was called at Chief Minister Modi's office on February 27, where some decisions were made without proper records. Several police officers, including Sanjeev Bhatt, K.N. Sharma, Deepak Swaroop, M.K. Tandon and others, are named as participants of these meetings. These meetings were later to become a point of contention where unconstitutional actions were discussed, which failed to intervene in the mass killings of Muslims. Human Rights Watch reported that the attackers arrived by the thousands in trucks, clad in saffron scarves and khaki shorts, shouting slogans of incitement to kill. They were armed with swords, trishuls, sophisticated explosives, and gas cylinders. They even had printouts listing the addresses of Muslim families and their properties obtained from the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. They embarked on a murderous rampage. In many cases, the police led the charge, aiming and firing at Muslims who got in the mob's way. These riots that went on for about a month in 2002, February and March, in Gujarat have killed about 790 Muslims and 254 Hindus as per the official records, and above 2,000 as per the Citizens Tribunal report. According to an article in The Week magazine, 1,679 houses, 1,965 shops and 21 godowns were burned, 204 shops looted and 76 shrines were destroyed in Ahmedabad. The great majority of them belong to Muslims. In Ahmedabad, violence went on for about roughly 3 months and gradually spread across the state. And for the next 1 year, Gujarat became a hot furnace for Muslims. Naroda Patia massacre, Gulbarg Society massacre, and the violence in Vadodara city became a horrific sight of a political vendetta. On 28th February, 11 in the morning, a 15,000 strong mob began attacking residences in Gulbarg Society, a Muslim neighborhood in the eastern part of Chamanpura in Ahmedabad. Former parliamentarian Ehsan Jafri was also a resident of Gulbarg Society. As the mob surrounded, Jafri made multiple calls to senior Gujarat state officials, including Narendra Modi, seeking help. No police help arrived till 6 p.m. Over 69 persons were killed in cold blood. Ehsan Jafri was among 35 victims who were burnt alive and mutilated, while 31 others went missing and were presumed dead. In Chaparwa district, 11 men from the mob gang-raped a woman named Bilqis Banu, who was 5 months pregnant along with her mother and 3 other women. Charges were filed in a Mumbai court against 19 people as well as 6 police officials and a government doctor over their role in the initial investigations in January 2008. 11 of them were sentenced to life imprisonment for rapes and murders, and a policeman was convicted of falsifying evidence. A survivor from Panchmahal district recalled that 40 men chased her. She was caught and gang raped. Her son was crying. After gang rape, her foot was cut with a sharp weapon. A gravedigger at a mass grave site in the Darya Khan camp told Human Rights Watch there were at least 3 pregnant women and one of the fetuses was partially hanging out. We had to stick it back in before the burial. Another woman who washed the bodies of female victims before the burial said that she washed 17 bodies on March 2. Only one was completely intact. All had been burnt, many had been split down the middle. Next day, 15 more bodies came. Then I just threw water over them. I could not stand to be around them anymore. After 23 years of this barbaric violence, Citizens for Justice and Peace came out with a report alleging the involvement of senior Gujarat officials in 2002 riots. Tehelka magazine ran a sting operation called Operation Kalank, where many car sevaks and government officials admitted on tape that they operated under the support of the Chief Minister. Citizens for Justice and Peace made a report transcribing these tapes. It highlights Modi's involvement in delaying army deployment, failing to take action against senior officials who did not control the violence or address the inflammatory media reports. Harsh Bhatt, who was former MLA from Godhra, was caught saying on record that they were given 3 days to do what they could. Babu Bajrangi, leader of Bajrang Dal in Gujarat, also admitted on tape that Modi spoke to him on phone calling him a real man. He said Modi helped me in getting released. He changed 4 High Court judges for a favourable judgment. In 2016, Rana Ayyub released her book Gujarat Files, Anatomy of a Cover-Up. On behalf of Tehelka, Rana went undercover for 8 months in 2010, posing as Maithili Tyagi, a US-based filmmaker. She managed to get access to senior police officers, bureaucrats and politicians in Gujarat, even meet Narendra Modi in her Maithili Tyagi disguise. Citizens for Justice and Peace collectively managed 172 convictions, 124 to life imprisonment, but many higher courts often reversed the decisions. In August 2022, the convicted men in the Bilkis Bano rape case were released from a Godhra jail by the Gujarat government on request of remission. They were garlanded by BJP government upon the release. However, on 8 January 2024, Supreme Court of India struck down the remission granted and ordered the perpetrators to surrender to the jail authorities within 15 days. After 17 years of judicial struggle, Bilkis Bano received justice. Zakia Jafri, wife of deceased former parliamentarian Ehsan Jafri, filed a petition in Supreme Court of India in 2006 alleging the law enforcement authorities had failed to take action against key political figures, including the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi in 2008. The Supreme Court directed a special investigation team to examine these claims. The SIT concluded the investigation in 2012, finding that there was not sufficient evidence to prosecute Modi or other officials. The documentary evidence of state complicity in the absence of fire brigade and police response were ignored by the investigating agency. In April 2014, the Supreme Court expressed satisfaction with SIT's investigations in the 9 related cases and rejected a plea that called these reports as baseless. On 26 May 2014, Narendra Modi took oath as the Prime Minister of India.